Next up, we have Christian Harris out of Alabama, the linebacker, who, frankly, I'm quite high on. I'll be honest. You guys see on the screen here the 79.70 and second round grade, but he was top 32 on my board overall, as well as my linebacker 3 on the board. So in that regard, I wouldn't have had a problem if he went late last night. And I'm assuming he goes today. I'm filming this on Friday, but hey, if he goes day 3, somebody's getting an absolute steal. But for me, just what I liked most about him was first and foremost the athletic traits. He's a guy that just in terms of the combine, this will give you guys a good point of reference. He had a 4.44 40-yard dash as a linebacker. He had an 11-foot broad jump, and I did not stutter. That's in the top 99.4 percentile of all linebackers who have broad jumped in combine history, as well as a 34.5-inch vertical, which is fine as well. So the athleticism is through the roof. I also really liked his motor. I gave him an 8 out of 10 on motor, and he really just didn't quit. He had very active feet. He had very quick reads, and he was just flying around the field, and I loved it. In that regard, I gave him a 14.25 out of 15 in terms of range and pursuit. I thought he was very impressive there. I gave him a 9.5 in terms of quickness and change of direction. The same thing there as well. And then I gave him a 4.75 out of 5 from the combine-derived athleticism. I just thought he was rather impressive in all athletic facets of the game for the most part. Otherwise, in terms of some other stuff to talk about, what else did I think he did well? I thought he had decent block shedding for his size. Now, that might not be saying much. I gave him a 10.25 out of 15, but for a guy that was only 226 pounds, I think you would expect him to get, eaten up by offensive linemen significantly more than it happens. But I think because the quickness by which he's reading plays and, just the quickness in terms of getting to them, I think that he's oftentimes making the offensive lineman either late to the party, late to the spot, right? He's just beating them there and they're barely able to get a hand on. Or when they do get hands on, he's able to just kind of very quickly, just get out of there. He's not necessarily having the best, stacking sheds, and he's not having these wonderful, shock the blocker, stab right in your chest, and then detach and run. No, it's more so beating you to the spot, and if you beat me, I'm just going to use my quick hands and maybe try and, hit you with a quick little rip or a club or something to that extent, more than anything else. So I gave him a 10.25, as I said, out of 15 in block shedding, where I thought, I don't want to say I was disappointed in him, because I frankly didn't see a lot of it, was his coverage skills. He has all of the tools to be very impactful in coverage. However, Alabama did not use him as such. More so on their passing downs, they would rather have had him blitzing the quarterback, which for me, I don't necessarily have a category just based off blitzing, but I thought by and large, his success blitzing, which was certainly there, was reflected in his quickness and change of direction grade. Just an absolute bolt of lightning attacking the offensive line, even if it was late. Just so tough to block, because like I said, even if you could get a hand on, it was tough to do so. You could maybe stop him if you got a hand on, but it was tough to be in position with your feet because he was just so quick moving. And that was just, another note that I made. He was able to convert speed to power pretty successfully. Like, I don't think that he necessarily would have, like, had he benched at the combine, I don't think he would have put up very many reps, but you watch him and you see him, as I said, almost play bigger than his dimensions list. In terms of the negatives, some things that I graded down a little bit. I thought that he was a little bit reckless. He was a little bit reckless at times, which kind of comes with the territory in terms of having a high motor and being a great athlete. He just sometimes needs to learn to tempo down and go for maybe a more conservative tackle at times than just flying in out of nowhere, right? Take an extra step or two, concede a half a foot, the extra half a foot, half a yard that guy's going to get while you brace yourself for impact a little bit better and prepare to lay a blow. It felt like sometimes he was just so overly eager to make a play that sometimes he would almost do the opposite and sometimes give the guy an easier path than necessary. I did think, despite saying he had very active feet and quick reads, I thought at times his IQ could be a little bit questionable. I thought he was easily influenced, but because he's moving so quickly off the snap, and I'm not kidding when I say that, like, it's almost instantaneously as the ball is being snapped. He is already making a read, and sometimes he'll be wrong, sometimes he'll be right, but there's a quickness to that if you're a quarterback and that, you can kind of easily influence him. As an offensive coordinator, run some dummy motions, right? As a QB, maybe do a pump fake, things that'll get him out of position. Although it is tough with him because his ability to change directions is so fast that he's able to recover very well. And that was one thing that I thought hid the IQ and awareness. It was just the athleticism in terms of the quickness and COD. Otherwise, it's pretty much all I have for you guys. Like I said, a little bit reckless at the point of attack as a tackler. I give him a 5.75. And all in all, that came out to a 77 raw grade. Add in the position premium for linebackers that I give, which is 2.5%. Came out to, as you guys see there, 79.70. I think that Harris, for me at least, is one of my top prospects remaining, no question. I'm a Lions fan, and the Lions need a linebacker. They've been aggressive already. Go and trade up for him if you want. No, but I will say that I think that he would be better on a team with a good defensive line. That's one thing that I want to note. If you're a team that goes out and gets him as like an anchor linebacker, that's you expect to really take on blocks and just be a force to be reckoned with in the box. I don't necessarily know if Harris is the right guy. I think he would be a good player to wear if you are I don't want to say a good team, but if you're a team that at the very least has a good O-line, I think, or a good D-line. Excuse me, I'm recording way too much today. But no, I think that if your team has a good D-line and can just let him roam, and you can sort of minimize the impact of maybe some of those false reads, and maybe that recklessness becomes a positive because you have other guys who can make up for it, then I think he could be incredibly effective. However, with that being said, on the flip side, if you were the New Orleans Saints, Christian Harris would be a great player. If you were the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would have hesitations about it. But that's why I grade on a universal scale. I'm not grading for one team or another. So for me, just in general, I would say top of the second round, and I'm thinking that's exactly where he's going to go tonight. Although I would say I think the end results will be better if he's on a better team that helps mask some of his weaknesses perhaps a little bit more. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I know I'm pumping out a ton of them today, so apologies for spamming your sub boxes, but hey, hopefully I've covered quite a few guys that maybe your team has drafted now if you're watching this after the draft, or that your team is going to draft if you're watching it beforehand. So with that being said, that's finally it for this one. I'm mic'd up, now I'm mic'ing out. Peace, guys. I will see you next video.